be around here. Back. Probably have to go back, don't I? Oh, I can't go back. Let me try this again. So why didn't it work the first time? What do I do about the fight? That fix the water? No. Think about this, let's figure it out. Maybe this will break the fight.
I figured I add a little something about the commentary, why it is in the game and how we did it. As you probably have noticed by now, the quality of the recordings are a bit different. We tried our best, but as we do not have an office, everyone had to care for their own voice recording and make do with the equipment that they had. For me as a sound artist and for Mikko and Tapio, this was not really much of a problem. We all got our sound gear to rely on. But for the rest, they really had to work to make the best out of their chat microphones. They even got a checklist of things to do, such as put a sock on the microphone, what angle towards the microphone to speak at. The reason as to why we did the commentary to begin with was that when we were working on Amnesia, we started taking pre-orders of the game.
How did we find this place?
An old friend back in Algiers gave me a map.
Why isn't he with us? Didn't he want to come?
He wanted to, Daniel, but things don't always turn out the way we planned.
This level consists of 3 parts of a puzzle. For each part you complete, you get 1 step closer to getting the machinery running. It does not matter which order you do it in, so you can complete the level as you like. When I scripted this level, I made a basic function for completing a puzzle. Then I added some specific tweaks to each puzzle to make them unique. And then finally a grand version of a complete puzzle function to make it really noticeable when you finished all 3 of them. I got surprised when several testers said that it was not clear as to when they completed the whole level. That on the first puzzle it was really nice, but that on the second and third puzzle they did not really notice that they had accomplished something successfully. As I was about to start working on this, I noticed something really strange. I had, for testing purposes, made it so that when completing the first puzzle, you would get the grand puzzle completion function, which meant that the first puzzle had a big bang of events, while the other 2 would only have the minor small puzzle completion events. It had been like this since I finished the level, so no one had never experienced the actual sequence of events meant to take place.
Okay.
This type of bugs are pretty nice to fix, because you only fix your own stupid mistake, and then all is done.
Does it have to match the other side? I don't know what to do if I have these things. That is something. Could really use some supplies. Is there one in here? Doesn't look like it. I have a wooden crank though. What about these? Okay, so what do I do with all of this? How do I know? I don't know. Let me see. Maybe these pipes go somewhere. work I've put in this machine is equalated by the reasoning of any man. I thought there'd be generations of men have passed away since I first attempted the construction and design. It's most tiring. The limitations of this world has made my work incredibly difficult. It has forced me to build a thing most 100 times larger than a delicate contraption it tries to emulate. Not to mention the flow-tamed lightning cruelty replaced by pressure and steam blowing through the pipes and turbines. It shames me to think of the inventor would have thought of my monster. He works with a magnifying glass to carefully fix the parts. I pushed 5 men to erect a tower, wrong iron, and hope it would even look the tiniest hint of the power found in the traveler's locket. Okay. That doesn't help me with where the pipes go, though. Like, do I leave? Haha. I've found the system. Time to think in my head. So my big brain thinks that I have to match. There's pipes on this wall, right? So these pipes. Oh, there's holes. Big brain. So I need one more. Okay. So where do I get that one more? Is it out here? Possibly. How do I throw? I still don't know if this is correct. I don't know. Let me go back. Because obviously, maybe these aren't right. Oh, that did something. Is this the way it's supposed to be? Yeah.
Daniel? Is that you? What are you doing?
I have no idea. I think that finishes this part.
This map is all about themes, and the action the player does are meant to reflect what happens in the diary entries. The player needs to turn the valves in order to progress, but at the same time, things go bad every time this is done. The level gets darker, the sound of someone being trapped gets louder, and the water lurker seems to be coming closer. Everything tells the player not to turn the valves, yet it must be done. Something that reflects how Daniel feels in the diaries.
bad at parkour. Oh wait, this is... Oh. Let's see. Oh my. There we go. Let's go listen to that. Oh yeah.
The inspiration for this level came from me visiting the Basilica Cistern in Istanbul. Fun thing was that Jonas, the concept artist who drew the design, had also visited it the same summer, so he knew precisely what I was after. The fishes that can be found were also inspired by the real thing.
7th August, 1839. There is no denying that Alexander puts a lot of faith into what I can only describe as magic. I'm not surprised. Even while traveling across Europe, I assumed I would have to embrace the supernatural to save my mind and life. As a novice, I do everything in my power to stay focused and not dwell too much on my own doubts. Alexander woke me up early and told me it was time we got started on our work. He was obviously excited to get going, and we headed downstairs to the old dungeon, where he preferred to attempt his rituals. It turns out that Alexander is a true Renaissance man, paralleled only by Da Vinci, I'm sure. He showed me several rooms fitted for specific research, such as anatomy studies, alchemy, and botany. The crown of Brennenburg must be the inner sanctum, a most hallowed ground where we shall attempt to permanently banish the orb's shadow.
What did I do? Oh God. Get up. Okay. What do I do about that? Do I throw some stones at it?
August 1839. I could never be certain until today that I was on the right path. Using my orb, Alexander managed to channel its power unto us. The inner sanctum flared with blue, fiery light, and I could feel the same things I felt in the dark chamber in Algeria. It was like standing in a mad whirlpool of impressions. It was terrifying, but Alexander kept calm and wielded strange tools of science in order to tame the storm. Suddenly, the blue light was stained by strains of red, and the walls burst with pulsating tissue resonating with the scene. Alexander quickly covered the orb in some cloth, and the unspeakable thing vanished. Apparently, the orb's shadow is closer than Alexander thought. He said I should prepare for a warding ritual tomorrow. I'm not sure what he expects, but I have a bad feeling about this.
Where do I go now? Oh dear. Yeah, I don't know where to go. I've been everywhere, I believe. There's still more for me to do. Is there anything over here before I turn that?
9th of August, 1839. It is still early, and Alexander is busy preparing for the ritual later today. Seeing him this worked up makes me question why. What does he stand to gain? I realize he is curious about it all, but surely there must be more. Is he so foolish he will attempt to tame the power of the orb? I must admit that yesterday, when Alexander flooded the inner sanctum with blue light, I realized we had but graced the orb's true potential. This might turn out to be more than escaping a creeping shadow. It might be the beginning of something truly extraordinary.
Okay. On these. Okay. So this is the last valve I got to do. Nothing clicked when I did that. Just stopped the steam. Is there anything over here before I turn that? There's a note.
9th of August, 1839. It is still early, and Alexander is busy preparing for the ritual later today. Seeing him this worked up makes me question why. What does he stand to gain? I realize he is curious about it all, but surely there must be more. Is he so foolish he will attempt to tame the power of the orb? I must admit that yesterday, when Alexander flooded the inner sanctum with blue light, I realized we had but graced the orb's true potential. This might turn out to be more than escaping a creeping shadow. It might be the beginning of something truly extraordinary.
Okay. Turn on these. Okay. So this is the last valve I got to do. Nothing clicked when I did that. Just stopped the steam. Is that another valve? That has to be it. All I know is I'm going crazy. I like this. Maybe be less crazy. Okay. I have to figure out if there's another one. I like the other bridge down. Oh. I'm sure it's fine. The bridge hasn't moved at all. You must have done something wrong. Either way, I'm gonna leave it here, guys. I'm gonna try to figure out what I did wrong, so let me know what you think so far. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good day.